Hey everyone, I wanted to talk to you all about something that's been bothering me for a long time actually. Um, I betrayed myself most of my life, and it is a daunting thing to discover when you betray yourself. And not just one time, but like over and 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 over again, to the point that that's all you know is that part of you. You see aspects of your true self and what you really want, but until you start like acknowledging them. And this is like, I don't know, years of not knowing myself. And then finally, years of knowing myself and getting to know myself more and more and like unwinding and releasing me to get to the point where I still find myself out of pattern, betraying myself out of fear of success or fear of the consequences to come, and to taking very tiny baby steps to get to center, in a sense, to get to a point where I can and feel good, to know my truth. So just to imagine, like, I get so frustrated sometimes because I'm like, oh God, I want to do this, and I see it and I feel it and I know it, and it comes in sometimes even. And I'm so fearful to even act on it sometimes because is it really it? Was that really that? Then I learned to trust myself more and more and more, and this is a slippery slope in a sense, because it's like not something that happens overnight, and slowly began to feel myself more and feel my deepening, feel my knowing, um, and even in my grounding, to ground so that the things that are not true to leave. You can feel, or I feel, the energies releasing. And like over time, the last few years, I really realistically say, has been this complete unwind, release, and rebuild of a foundational structure inside of me. And I think a lot of people have been going through this at the same time. Um, it's not always the most fun thing to feel all of that, all of it. Build your foundation and the edits that have to be done, and then feel yourself start to not know who you are, what you're supposed to be doing. But you got to keep, you're an adult, you got to keep your income coming in, so you got to keep swimming, keep going, keep going. And little by little by little, you keep running and running and running and swimming and harder, kicking, kicking, kicking. And then maybe you slow down, you relax, and you chill for a little while. Because if you don't chill for a little while, then you kind of like get this disgruntledness because you don't even know what you're doing, if you're doing what you really truly should be doing, but you think you could be doing. And so in the moment, it is your truth, and then you move through that, and then it's like this deepening to this unwind of who you are in every moment. And I think, and I could be wrong, but some way, somehow, I think the human condition almost is that you get to a certain place, the journey, whatever. But you get to a certain place in life, and then you feel content for the moment. Maybe you are victorious, courageous. You won something. But then there's always another thing. And some people will stay in the same lane and do that over and over and over again. And some people will go into other lanes in time. They'll do a 5, 10 years in one lane, then go to another lane. And pieces of them, it's like a tree, and the seeds are being planted, and the seeds are being rooted and watered and nurtured. And then they start to grow, and they create a stem. And so each of you, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, I find that probably most people don't know who they are and don't know what their truth is. And it is very sad and challenging to overcome that and to keep going through it and to find the support around you who doesn't think you're completely mad or nuts, though we probably all are, in our own ways. But when I've been able to, some way, shape, or form, get the support from people, have the people around that could get me some way, somehow, even if it's just a sliver. I was a sliver enough. And I hope that you guys all have that tonight, this week, this month, this year, in life at some point. And just don't give up. Don't give up on what you're trying to find or trying to do in life, because I've done a lot of things in my life, and it dawned on me tonight that perhaps our dreams in our life and what we want to do is really it's like a vacation. If you want to think of it, that's how I'm thinking of it right now. So, on a vacation, you want to go to the beach, let's just say. In a job, or in your dreams, you want to paint a picture, let's just say. Or you want to be a gardener. You're not quite sure, because you've never done it before, how much it's going to cost, or what it's going to entail, or any of that stuff. Same thing with the beach. Maybe you've never been. So in this scenario, the gardener, the person who wants to garden, wants to put a garden together. Or the artist, in a sense, wants to paint a picture. They don't know how much the supplies are. They don't know what it all entails. They don't know how much time it's going to take. So they start writing out a list, just like the person who wants to go to the beach starts writing out a list. They need to go to maybe a hotel, or they want to camp, or they want to drive, how much mileage, or they want to fly. All the money on the list of tools or resources that they need to get there and obtain it. And so if we are challenged by not taking that step forward to get into our truth, to do what we want to do, even if we've never done it before, if we start to write down a list as our vacation project, in a sense, and then start every day setting aside some time to plan that project out, plan that dream out, get those tools, get those resources, also go on vacation, we eventually will get to our goal. It might not be in the time frame we thought. It might not cost the same amount. We might have over budget, under budget. We might find that we liked going to the beach, or we liked gardening, or we didn't. And that's okay. And then learning through that. And then knowing that, okay, that was my truth to go to the beach, or that was my truth to build that garden. But while I was there, I really hated the sand, or I really hated the dirt. And I don't want to get dirty. Or something. Or, man, it took a long time for those plants to grow. Or the bugs, goodness. So the human condition, how do we really know what our truth is fully, except for to know ourselves? I'm a kind person. I'm humble. I'm intelligent. I'm funny. And I am friendly, but I also like to be alone. I love creating. And I love creating all sorts of things. Doesn't have to be one thing. I do love my creativity to have some kind of function, whether it brings joy to people or it heals in some way, shape, or form, expresses truth, expresses emotion. Lets people see me, lets people see themselves. So just like the gardener trying to get the garden going, or the painter trying to get the painting going, or the person wanting to go to the beach. Perhaps at some point they find that they wanted to go to the beach, they went to the beach, and maybe it was in Florida because we're in Georgia. They went to that beach and they were like, oh my God, that was amazing, never been to the beach. Then they decide they're going to go on a further trip. In 3 years from now, they're going to go to Spain. And they're going to go to the Costa del Sol, to an Andalusia coast, right by Morocco. And they're going to go down there, and they're going to go to this little town called Nerja, or Malaga. And they're going to be there on the beach, between the rocks in the deep Mediterranean Sea. And then 5 more years, or maybe it's 6 months, who knows? They get a cool trip or opportunity to go down to near Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines. They go do that. So just like the vacation, the gardener also, the person who wants to garden, finally starts to garden. And maybe he finds that he really liked this garden, but he wants to make a smaller garden. And he wants to do it a different way. Maybe he just wants to do flower baskets on everyone's windows in an apartment complex. And that's his gardening that he loves to do. Or maybe he decides he wants to be a farmer and goes and buys some plot of land and does a farming thing. Another risk, in a sense, just like going to Spain or going to New Zealand. But at the same time, they enjoyed it. And so they are honoring their truth, they're stepping forward. Or they didn't like it, they're honoring their truth, they're stepping forward. They learned. And that skill can never be taken away from you because it's life experience and you can always use it in something else. So then we can integrate all those things, all those beautiful gifts that we had in life, the things that we didn't like but taught us lessons, the things that we did like and taught us lessons, and then integrating it all. And then knowing that through all of this, we have this beautiful woven tapestry of self. We're self-made, we're life experienced. And then sharing that with the world in a variety of ways. So, I don't know. That's just my talk for tonight. I hope that story settles with some of you. Some of you really want to go do something, just go do it. Fuck it. Go do it. Go do part of it. Even if it's just like painting a bad picture. A friend, Jennifer Ann Butler, told me once. She goes, just paint a bad picture. Just to get it done. Just to get it out. Just like writing something and not making any sense. You just write. Or you sketch something and you have to keep drafting it over and over and over again. You do these things, you make a recipe you've never made before. Maybe it doesn't taste that great. Maybe it tastes perfect the first time. Who knows? But each time you do more and more and more, and you do better and better and better because you practice it. And some days you don't feel right, even though you've practiced it a billion times. Even like I step into yoga class sometimes and I don't feel well. But I still teach the class. I still go through the motions. Sometimes I don't feel well and I don't come, but most of the time I go. Or sometimes I just feel a little off and I don't hold my poses as well, or I do a little slower class for people because I don't have the energy for it. And that's okay too. I'm honoring my truth. And I just hope that everyone can keep honoring their truth. And if you're having a problem with that, message me. Because I've already been through that. And I continue to. I feel like first 30 years of my life almost just about were people pleasing and making sure that I obtained this role. And the things that I really wanted to do were finally niched into my later years. Not that old, but still. And then integrating. And that's been a challenge for me, is how to integrate what I was, what I did, to what I am, and to what I'm becoming. Because what I am right now is not who I will become either. So it's like, it's a challenge in a sense. But something that if we work on it daily, we can overcome. So, I wish you all a very, very, very abundant, truthful, authentic beingness within yourself. And I hope that what I'm sharing with you resonates with some of you.